ACID got me seeing souls. They hybrids in my eye beams, but I've been looking blindly. Gave my soul up for perfect timing. A desert cat reinvented rhyming. How crazy is that?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So Diablo 2 Resurrected beta weekend has come and gone, and I personally have some feelings about it, one way or the other, and I just want to kind of get it out there. But also kind of wanted to have a different perspective on all of this, so I actually asked my brother to help me out with this video because he is also a fan of Diablo. But hey man, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, like, you were more of a D3 fan before really being a D2 player, right? Is that correct, or am I mistaken?
Like my earliest, like Diablo 2 actually was the first game I ever played like online.
Oh shit, I was way off. I don't even know my brother, guys. You hear that shit?
Yeah, bro. I used to play that shit. I got it when Dad used to live like out in the desert, like in Ridgecrest, but way out in the desert when he had like that place.
You talking about like when he had like the garage where it had like the mustache painted on the fucking...
Yeah, where he had the bar in the garage.
Yeah.
He used to throw little parties for his cop friends.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's cool if you drunk drive if you a cop, right? You know
I guess so.
It don't matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean?
Yeah, that's just how it is. Alright, so epic fail, but it's all good because I'm not going to edit that shit out. So let's just keep going. So, hey, real quick, before we even get into anything else, I want to ask you this, because I feel like nobody's mentioning this, because I've seen other people, listen to other people talking about the beta, and I don't really hear people saying that the hitboxes to me feel fucked up, man. Like, I would try to swing at something, and if it ran even a little bit, there was no way for me to catch up to that motherfucker and actually hit him unless I pushed him back into a corner. Like, were you having that issue on the console too, or is it just me, or did you notice anything like that as well?
Well, I think like a big thing that actually really helps on console is they tell you when you miss.
Oh,
so, like,
really?
Yeah, so like you can understand like if you're just missing the swing or if it's the hitbox or like what's going on. It actually says miss.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So that helps a lot.
Yeah, man, that would have helped a lot, actually. So I'm guessing that means you have like your dexterity is too low, and it's literally telling you that you missed.
Yeah. It's like, yo, you missed that swing. You know what I mean? And on the computer, sometimes it doesn't feel like that because you're just like, what's going on? You know, because you don't get any feedback from the game about what's happening.
Yeah, I wasn't getting any feedback like that at all. I felt like I would try to hit something like 10 times in a row and just miss the thing because he was a little bit... I thought it was because he was a little bit out of my hitbox, but man, that makes me want to even...
It could be that too, you know, but I don't know. I noticed that though when I was watching your stream on the PC and then going on a console. Like, I noticed that immediately, and I was like, wow, that's way better.
I wish maybe they did and I just didn't look, but I'm kind of hoping that's implemented into the PC version too. You know, like maybe there would be like a slider that we can use, you know, to change that. Because I know there's also an auto sort on console, and you can't do that. Check this out, bro. You can't auto sort on PC, but if you plug in a controller, you can auto sort on PC, but only if you plug in a controller.
Yeah, that's weird,
isn't it?
I feel it though.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Like they implemented it for the controller, so it's like, I mean, it's just I feel like little things like that, like they're gonna overlook, you know.
For sure.
And to be honest, I don't really feel like they care that much. They're probably like, okay, cool, we got this beta out. Like, are they even gonna really take any of this feedback and actually change anything? Like, I kind of doubt it.
No, probably, especially not right now with the lawsuit stuff going on. You know what I mean? I'm just a guy bitching on the internet, you know. That's all. I just wanted to bitch a little bit on the internet because I love this franchise, right? Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, man. Like, I mean, the graphics are great and all, but at the same time, I don't know. It just feels different to me. Like, one thing I've been hearing a lot about is people bitching and moaning about how it doesn't faithfully like recreate Diablo 2, which I feel is a bunch of bullshit. I don't know what the fuck these guys are talking about. Like, have you heard anything like that?
I haven't really looked into it that much, but I think the complete opposite. Like, I think, like, I was playing it yesterday and I'm running around as the paladin and I'm like literally, like, this is what it looked like to me when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, like, in my mind, like, this is what Diablo 2 has always been.
bro.
And it was dope.
Man, it's crazy how strong like nostalgia goggles can be. Because then, I mean, yeah, same with me, right? It felt like that's what it always looked like. But then when you push the button and you can switch between, you know, the game that's playing underneath the game on top, you know, there's a top layer, and it looks like shit. It's just kind of like, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's even crazier about that is, like, I mean, I've already told you multiple times I play a lot of like Median XL, and I never realized how much they improved the quality of the graphics just for even those compared to straight up vanilla D2. Yeah, man, like it really shows, especially now that I played these different versions. So did you have any like stability issues that you maybe ran into on the console? Because I know you were playing on Xbox One, and I remember it was saying it's supposed to be like optimized for the Xbox Series X.
The stability felt really good. Like the way that the game played felt pretty good. Like there would be occasional like lag here and there, but nothing crazy, especially like when I'm playing on the original Xbox One. But something that kept happening to me over and over is like it's not like it toggles back into the old game, but my game would just lose hella resolution out of nowhere. Like if there was like a bunch of mobs, like everything would just get blurry, and then it would like sharpen out again. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, why does it's like losing?
Yeah, like,
it looked really bad.
It was probably like too much for the console to handle, like registering all of those enemies and all the different attacks. Because I mean, the attacks in Diablo, especially if they're like shooting out like lightning bolts and shit, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of light textures that go into that, so I can actually see how that could be an issue with, especially with the past generation of consoles, for sure.
Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to talk about was a lot of people, like the straight diehards of Diablo 2, they wanted to keep the inventory the size that it was before. Now we actually have 4 tabs now inside of the chest, so we have 3 that are a shared stash, so we have way more room there. But I really want them to actually go in there and just give us a little more inventory space, man, because I feel like that's something that's going to, especially the new generation of gamers, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that aren't going to want to play it simply because they don't want to have to keep running back and forth, you know, to the town every time they pick something up because their inventory is completely full of charms. You know, like I really wish that they would do something like that, because it's just not big enough, and it feels way slower to me at the same time. Like, I don't know if you felt like that too. Maybe it's just me, especially because I haven't played original D2 in so long, but I just felt like it was kind of a way slower pace, and I honestly see like there's going to be some issues there with the new gamers.
Yeah, I mean, especially like on console, I think that it's way too slow to even like manage your inventory or understand like what the different buttons do, you know? Like dropping and then throwing shit in your stash and like trying to buy a million potions. See, I think there's something that's really gonna throw off the whole entire end game entirely is the belt and having your potions. Like I get that they wanted to stay faithful to how the potion system used to work in Diablo 2, but they also, like, if you're on PC, you can open up your inventory and then shift click over it and throw it all in your belt. You can't do that on console. So like that's gonna throw out so many like builds that are dependent upon the potions that they run.
Yeah, that is very true, bro. I was on Reddit earlier today, and this guy was talking about the shift click. So I'm happy you mentioned that, because it reminded me of something. And I guess he had been saving like his attribute points, and he went to go hit the strength, that put a little bit into strength. He's a source, right? And he was hitting shift when he did it, and he didn't realize that he had done it, and it put every single point that he had saved into strength. So he was like a source. Yeah, he was a fucking source, bro, with 105 strength, and he had like no dexterity, no energy, no vitality. It was the funniest fucking thing ever, bro. I couldn't believe that shit.
Yeah, for real.
But I feel like, see, actually, now we're talking about this. You know how you can pick your attributes at the window? One thing that because they want to implement all these quality of life changes, right? Why can't you make it so that when we put in attribute points, say I put one in the strength, or what that guy did in that particular instance, I'm not saying let us respec all the time, but how about to just like let us respec before we close the window? When you get the points and you're putting them in, if the window's still open, right, then you can change it. But as soon as you close the window, those are permanent. And again, I know they probably won't put this in there, but it's just something that I feel like would be really beneficial.
Yeah, I think that that's a good like medium between like what it used to be and then what it should be now too. I think that it really all boils down to just like this conversation of how old this game is and how a bunch of things in it just don't even, it doesn't even feel right anymore. And I guess like, I mean, but
True.
that's what this game is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like Diablo 2. It's not supposed to be Diablo 4. You know, so on some end I'm like, I don't know. I think this is the same problem though that Blizzard's running into with multiple games that they keep trying to redo. Like you're redoing WoW Classic, you're redoing Warhammer, you redo Diablo 2, and the thing is that all of these people have played this game for so long that they're like, they just want something new too. Like they want you to change up something about the game. Like they don't want to play WoW Classic and then be a warrior the whole time because that's the best DPS. Like they don't want to play Diablo 2 and then be a smite paladin and then just wreck everything and get Enigma and then just teleport around everywhere. Like I feel like there's a bunch of people who are gonna play this game, but then they're gonna quit because they're gonna be like, oh, this is just the same thing that I've been doing for the last like 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely see that too, and I think maybe that's why I wanted to see like more changes in the game itself, is because I honestly think that's going to be an issue. You know, it's funny because now that we're talking about that, it's almost like if Blizzard would just make better games, right? Like better new games, then we wouldn't really need, right? Diablo 2 Resurrected. We wouldn't need Warcraft Reforged, you know, or any of those games if they could just get this shit right. So hopefully D4 breaks that trend, and D4 is a little bit better than, you know, Diablo 2. I don't know about that. You know, it's such a classic. People love it so much. But the thing is, man, is like you're saying, it's a really old game, and you can really, I'm really starting to feel the age of the game now, to the point where, sadly, you know, I don't even really want to play straight vanilla D2 anymore. You know, now especially now that I've played Median XL, it's like Median XL is so much better. It really is. It's so much better than vanilla Diablo 2. And I know you haven't played it yet, and I know like you're probably getting tired of hearing me talk about it, but I mean, it's like there's this fucking crafting system in that game. It's just fucking awesome, you know, and it's just fun because you get so many more abilities, you get so many more spells. See, that's the other thing too. Like, I mean, I like classic D2, but I feel like there just isn't enough. Like, what was the level cap? Like 70? You know, I mean, they're probably gonna leave it at that, and you're not even gonna really be able to max out.
I think on console, like the skills and everything, like if that, it feels really good. I love the way that it plays on console because like having to hotkey it and then just right click, like hotkey, right click, hotkey, right click, like over and over, that's so annoying.
It is. It's
and,
annoying
like,
as fuck.
Dude, it sucks. It's horrible. And like on a controller, like you can just set it to your individual buttons and then you're running around teleporting, dropping blizzards. Like it feels awesome.
Yeah, that does sound great. It really does. And it's funny you mentioned that because like the whole reason I have the mouse that I have is specifically for these kinds of games where I'm just sick and tired of pushing F1, F2, F3, F4 like every other second. So I mean, I have one of those where you just do it with your thumb. But if I didn't have that, man, it's almost unplayable. I know that probably sounds stupid to a lot of the hardcores out there who don't really give a fuck about that kind of thing, and I get it. But like, man, it gets boring and redundant after a while.
Yeah, it does, dude. Like I don't like that. I feel like that's something that's always brought me back to World of Warcraft because you can just make it feel so fluid. And like games like ESO, like that feels fluid too. Like I don't like clunky combat and then like, you know what I mean, where I can't even, like, it takes me a second to like even target something. Like I hate that.
Oh, definitely. Especially when it feels like you should have hit something, you know, because you're firing right at it and then it never hits. Again, that kind of goes back to the whole hitbox thing, but that shit annoys the fuck out of me. Also, I kind of wish they could have added like an Act 6 or something like that. I know that's probably asking too much, and I completely understand, you know, why they're not doing it. But at the same time, it's kind of like, dude, don't you guys want to make money? Are you really going to tell me that if you added an Act 6, like, you wouldn't make hella fucking money off that shit? I would buy it. You know, most of my friends that play Diablo would probably buy it. Almost everybody I know that plays that game would fucking buy that shit. you know, but instead they're just kind of releasing it as it is, which is fine. I don't know.
Well,
It's
I
just,
mean, I think like a big thing with it is that all of these games that they're capitalizing right now are games that other people made, basically. Like they don't even have any of the people that made these games anymore. And they haven't made a good game since these games.
yeah, real talk. Yeah, I wish they could have brought back David Brevik. I think that was the lead designer of Diablo. Man, that guy was a fucking genius. There's this really good interview with that guy where I think actually he's giving a speech to some college. It was hilarious. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but you should check it out. Anybody listening to this should check it out if they haven't seen that interview. I think it was called a post-mortem of Diablo, and he just kind of gave the whole story of like how the game came together and whatnot. And it was pretty cool. So after the time you spent with the game on console, how you feeling about it?
I feel like it's pretty good, dude. I feel like this game is like it's exactly like what you would expect. You know what I mean? It's nothing. It's no better and no worse than that. It's like just a recreation of the same exact game, and like it feels good, it runs good, and it's one of my favorite games ever. I just think like in the long term, like a lot of people aren't gonna really want to play it because I think that there's not really an end game at all. I feel like in all Diablo games that they've kind of done the same thing where it's like, you know, like the first Diablo, what do? You just beat it? Like, is there even like other difficulties in the first one?
Oh, you mean the original?
Yeah, in the original.
Oh, you know what, man? I'm happy you said that because I mentioned that on stream. That's one thing I wanted to talk about too. Is I don't understand why they couldn't have remade the original Diablo in the exact same way and just kind of added it to this one. You know, because I mean, it wasn't even a big game. The first Diablo game, you were in Tristram, and you just went down floors into dungeons. It was like 30 floors or something like that of dungeons, and when you got to the bottom of it, you fought Diablo. And so I mean, it would have been really easy for them to just add that in there, and it would have been a good way for them to actually implement some kind of new content. Because how many people have actually played Diablo 1? I don't really know a lot of people that have actually played Diablo 1. Even people that love Diablo 2, most of them have not played Diablo 1. So why not just throw it in there and to give us something a little extra? You know, now to be fair to them, they priced the game at $40, which I feel is extremely fair, you know, especially because it pretty much is the exact same game. It just looks prettier, right? But it still would be nice to get some new things like that. And what's funny is you got these hardcores out there that are like bitching and moaning because they don't have to click on gold to pick it up anymore. And dude, I'm sorry, but to me it feels really unhealthy for these guys to be bitching about shit like that, because if they had it their way, then the game would probably be even more kind of redundant and repetitive, right? Like, I'm not trying to diss, I mean, I love these games too, right? So I'm not trying to diss those guys that want it to stay that way. I just feel like it needs to evolve, and hopefully, you know, hopefully that's what will happen with D4, is going to evolve, because I liked D3, I just didn't like the atmosphere as much as I liked the atmosphere with D2. And I really hope that, and it looks like they're doing it, if they could kind of make a hybrid game that is a little bit closer to D3, right, in terms of like choices, because you did have, you know, quite a bit of different choices, way more than D2 when it came to your skills and whatnot, and a dark atmosphere, I think that would make for a way better Diablo game.
Yeah, I think that's what Diablo 4 is gonna be, honestly. I feel like they're gonna drop Diablo 4 and it's gonna be kind of like the best of both worlds between 3 and 2.
I certainly hope so.
At least like the assets and stuff, like the art style, it looks a lot more like Diablo 2. And that's something that they did so well in Diablo 2 Resurrected, was it really does make you feel like you're in like this gothic little lair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're not in like 2020 or whatever. You're in like back there in the Middle Ages, and you're like this paladin dude with the big old shield and all, like you gotta kill these demons, you know?
Yeah.
And I forgot too, a bunch of these voice lines are pretty crazy. Like you'll be walking with the paladin and he'll be like, oh, I have to cleanse this whole place of all the evil, and I'm like, damn bro, like chill out. You know what I mean?
Chill the fuck out, man.
Like, aren't you supposed to be a paladin? You're like a holy person. You're like, I gotta kill everybody here.
Damn. Yeah, that's true. I never really even noticed that before. You know what? Nowhere was that worse than with the fucking Enchantress in D3. She used to say shit like that all the time.
Yeah. She was cool, that little blonde lady.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. is exactly what I was talking about. I'm happy they kept the voice line, like the original voice actors in there though. I know they redid all the cinematics and yada yada, but I actually really am happy that they kept the original voice actors, because those are just some classic cutscenes that I would have been pretty sad if they got rid of that. Yeah, that would have kind of sucked.
Yeah, I think that they hit it spot on with just keeping all the original stuff, like the music too. The music sounds amazing.
You know, the music does sound great, and I'm not trying to bitch about the game. I'm really not. It's just that, like, I've played it for so long, I guess, you know, that I just wish there was more changes in the game. Who knows, man? Maybe they'll implement like a season kind of thing, and we'll be able to get like unique class sets and things like that. I kind of doubt it. You know, actually, now that I'm saying that, I found 2 class sets when I was playing it. I don't know if that was just because I was playing the beta and they like upped the percentage, the magic percentage chance that you have to get a class set or something like that, because I was playing on normal, getting fucking class sets. So I don't know if that was just for the beta or if that's going to be in the finished game too. If it's in the finished game, I actually don't have a problem with it, but I guarantee you, there's going to be people that are freaking the fuck out if that happens when the game comes out. They're gonna be like, dude, you know, you're making it too fucking easy. Why am I getting class sets in normal difficulty? And I just see like a whole kind of shitstorm. I just kind of wish those people would chill out.
I think with like every game that is like comes around again, you know what I mean, that it's going to be the same thing. Like, you have the same type of people in classic WoW who were really crazy about world buffs. And then, like, world buffs, if you don't know, it's like you complete a quest, right? Like, this is a bunch of them, at least. It's like you complete a quest, and then you give the dude the quest item, and then he gives everybody in the city like a big buff, right? And this buff would be crazy. It'd be like 30% attack power or something like that. So what people would do, and Blizzard never intended for people to do this, but they would just stack all the world buffs that they could get in the game on their character every week before they go to raid. So then they would just go into the raids and then just annihilate everything because they have all these buffs.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And like people were all like, oh, like you can't take world buffs out, because they were in the game. But it's like we weren't as good as the game in this game either. You know what I mean? We weren't able to just run through and clear everything. When I first played that game, like I could barely kill things around my own level by myself. Because I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh, for sure, man. Like, you know, that's another thing too, is I feel like these games, they need to start evolving, right? Because people are like losing their interest in it. And so when I'm bitching about like the little things, I guess, that they didn't fix, like for example, this hella small inventory, things like that, it's because I just have this feeling that it's going to alienate new players and is going to alienate those hardcores at the exact same time. And so it's just going to be like a mediocre medium, I guess. And I just feel like maybe they should have taken a little bit more risk with the game itself. And again, to be fair, it's not the final product yet, so we really don't know. But yeah, man, I just feel like that's what eventually is going to end up happening, is new players are going to get tired of running back and forth from, you know, town. They should be out there farming, you know, in the time that they're just standing around trying to get rid of all the shit that's in their inventory. You know, I mean, these games are all about looting. These games are all about farming the fucking demons. And instead of doing that, it just breaks your immersion when every single time, you know, you find something of value, you have to go back into town and stash that shit away. I'm not even asking for a lot. Just give us like, you know, what we have now and a half more, and I would be happy with that. Because by the end game, what happens every time is people just have an inventory that's completely full of fucking charms, you know?
They should just give us a charm inventory is really what they should do.
Yeah, that would be fucking awesome if they gave us a charm inventory. That would definitely be fucking awesome right there. Even if they were to just do that, it would help out so much.
Yeah, just make it so that you can't put charms in your regular inventory and you only have a inventory for your charms. And then some way of like getting them in and out between that. Because like if you find one on the ground, you're going to have to identify it and decide if you want it or not. So you'd have to have a place to keep it like in the meantime too.
You know, that's another thing too. And I know people love it, but especially like, dude, fuck this identify scroll shit, man. I mean, I know we did it in D3, but it wasn't the same. You just pushed a button, right? If I'm remembering correctly, you just push a button and it identifies it for you.
And I think then you could run to town and then hit the book too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm tired of having to carry around identify scrolls. I'm tired of having to carry around. Dude, you know what? Actually, yeah, alright, check this out. I wish potions did everything. And what I mean by that is like a health potion. I wish a health potion could also be a stamina potion. Maybe not a thawing potion, to be fair. But if I take a health potion at full health, like why can't my stamina come back? I don't understand what the need for stamina potions is. You know, they just sit there. Nobody ever really wants to use them. Hardly anybody actually ever fucking uses stamina potions. They just seem like kind of an obsolete concept to me at this point.
Yeah, I think like a good way of implementing it for console at least would be like since they have 4 buttons for it, you have 1 button for a health pot, 1 button for a mana pot, 1 button for like, and then like the 2 other buttons you could just put 2 whatever type of potions that you want. And instead of like having to keep them in your belt, that you could just stack them up like pretty much indefinitely. You know what I mean? It would just have like a little icon and be like, you have 3 health potions, and then just put a cooldown on it. Just put like a 10-second cooldown on it.
Yeah, I would actually be fine with that. You know, especially in Diablo 2. But I know, again, a lot of people don't want that. But,
yeah, I mean, a lot of people will go crazy, but I'm like, I don't want to open up my inventory and then hold A and then like drag it over to my belt and then hold A. You know what I mean? It's like that. Like I can't even do that in the middle of a fight, bro. It just doesn't work out at all.
There's been so many times. Yeah, there's been so many times where I was fighting a boss and I tried to go into my inventory because my belt ran out of potions, right? To try to use a potion, and he's like comboing me and he kills me before I fucking hit the button for the potion. It's the most annoying thing in the world. Like, oh man, dude. So, and you've seen it a couple times when I was on stream, like the whole like when you die you have to run back to your body shit. God damn it, I really wish that would not be in the game. I mean, I know that's probably stupid.
Yeah.
That shit annoys the fuck out of me, man. Having to run all the way back to get my fucking shit. You want to take my gold? Okay, that's fair. You know, that's my fault for not putting it into the bank, right? But yeah, but now I have to go into a high level area. If I died, it's probably a higher level area than I am, you know, at the moment, just to get my shit back. There's a good chance if I get hit 3 or 4 times on the way trying to get my shit back, I'm dead, right? Yeah, so I don't know. That
but at least in this game, there like you have some like passive like resistance. You know what I mean? Because like you're funneling all your points into your attributes in this game, which is a big difference between this game and Diablo 3. Because like in Diablo 3, if your armor broke, then you were basically a wet noodle.
Oh,
you know what I mean? You were nothing. Like without your set bonus, like you can't even hurt anything. In this game, at least you could get to your body because you have like a base amount of some health.
That's
true. You know what I mean?
No, that's a good point. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Especially once you start getting those Paragon levels. I hope they expand the Ubers in this. I know they probably won't, but it's kind of good. This goes back to what you were saying about the end game. Yeah, you know, I mean, you fight the Ubers and that's pretty much it. It'd be nice if they could add some more Ubers to the game, you know, and some more end game content like you were talking about. I'd definitely be down for that.
Yeah, I think that there's gonna be a lot of people too who forget like just little tips and tricks about Diablo 2. Like if you go into the cow level and then you kill the cow king, then you can't go back to the cow level.
You know, I never really liked that.
You know what I mean? They should change that. Like, you're only gonna let people play it one time because they don't know.
Yeah. Hey, how do you feel about shared loot? Because that's another thing that I feel is going to really deter the newer generation of people trying to play this for the first time. Is I mean, we've all experienced this, right? Like we've been in a party, maybe we're doing runs on Bale or something like that, right? And as soon as the loot hits the ground, everybody, no matter even if you're the bestest of friends, right? Everybody's trying to pick up whatever the fuck they can because they're just automatically assuming that you know, their friend is going to do the exact same thing, which is actually a pretty smart assumption, because it's probably going to happen. So like, how would you feel if they changed it to where everybody got their own individual personalized loot when you kill the bosses?
Yeah, I think that would be a lot better. I don't see them really doing that, but I think that would be a lot better, because even when I was playing yesterday just on Battle.net and I'm going with like random people, like there was like a paladin shield that dropped, right? Like a Targe or whatever.
Yeah.
And then this, it was like a yellow one. And then I'm playing with this sorceress, and then he just picks it up. And then he just leaves the game. I'm like, okay, bro. You know what I mean? I'm
Yep.
like, you ain't even a paladin, dude. It's a beta. You ain't even gonna have that character, dude.
That's fucking hilarious. You're gonna have that for like 12 hours, maybe another weekend after this. The motherfucker's bouncing like he got like something good on you, man. Like, wow.
Right? It's like he just stole like my burr rune or whatever, dude.
That's
It's
hilarious.
crazy.
That's hilarious, man. Oh, hey, man, I wanted to ask you. I gotta know if this shit happened on console too. It was like every 5 seconds, there was a little blue message in the corner that was like, so and so has joined trade channel. Over and fucking over and over. Just so and so join trade channel. Join trade channel. Joined trade channel. I'm like, how the fuck do I leave trade channel after like the first 2 hours, man? Yeah. Bro, like, was it doing that shit on console too?
I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't even like, I don't even know where my trade chat was at, dude. I wasn't paying attention at all. I
Fair
found
enough.
myself just like looking at the mini map over and over again. Like I couldn't look at the game. I had to like keep looking at the mini map to find out where I was going because everything's so dark and I'm just like looking at all the angles of the corners and stuff, just trying to figure out where I'm going. And I didn't really like that. I almost wish that I could just like hit a button and open the map. Even though I know like that it was like that before and like it's useful to just keep moving, but like it kind of takes away from the whole atmosphere of the game when you're not even paying attention to the art assets at all. You're just trying to like basically look at a little puzzle and then move your way through a maze.
That's actually a really good point. I never looked at it that way before, but now that you mention it, I'm just thinking about that because there's been, man, multiple times, if not constantly, every time I play the game, I am pretty much only looking at the fucking minimap. I'm not really looking at what's in front of me. You know, like I'm just pretty much always looking at the fucking minimap. If anything, it would be cool if maybe they could have given us like maybe a more detailed map. I know people don't really want like, what's it called, map reveal in this game, because you have that with certain mods where you just push a button and it just reveals the entire map because it's procedurally generated, so they feel like that's cheating. But I feel like they should at least give us the option for it. It'd be pretty cool because, yeah, now that you mentioned that, at least then I'd have more time to actually enjoy the atmosphere and the artistic aspects of the game, as opposed to just looking at my fucking minimap all fucking day while I'm playing it. They might as well have just made a game called Minimap, right? And
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's like it's basically a whole different game. It's basically just like a driving game.
yeah, it's
You know what I mean?
Minimap Simulator.
Yeah, for real. For real.
Real talk. Yeah, that's exactly what
They
it
could
is.
make it on the phone, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like hit A to swing your sword, and then it's just mini map simulator with enemies.
You got people playing fucking Minimap Simulator on fucking calculators and Etch-a-Sketches and shit. Right?
Yeah, it is kind of addicting though. Like the whole like just like running through, just trying to find the door, like gets addicting. But I feel like it definitely takes away from the game a lot.
It
And
does.
when I be playing games, like a lot of the time when I'm playing games, I turn off almost every UI component that I have just to feel like I'm actually in it. Like on World of Warcraft, I basically play with like nothing. I can't see anything besides like my character and like and that's it. I change up the whole game so it doesn't even feel like a MMO with like all these buttons and shit. It feels like I'm like
Like you're
it
just
almost feels
role-playing the
like
character.
Metal Gear Solid or something. You know what I mean? I'm running around like Resident Evil, like in like a
Yeah.
third person off the camera like mode, and I'm just like hitting stuff.
Yeah, you know, that's something that's really hard to do, and it's really rare to find that in gaming nowadays, a good user interface. Have you ever played Dead Space?
Nah.
Okay. Personally, I didn't like it that much, but the reason I'm bringing it up is because the user interface in that game, like, you had these lights on your back, which was, you know, you had like an exoskeleton suit kind of thing that the main character wore, and there was like 6 lights on his back, and that was actually your health bar. Like, there was no user interface whatsoever, and the only way that you could tell what your health was by like the power lights on your back. Like, you would get hit and, you know, a light would go out, and obviously if you got to the last one, you're dead. I always thought that was pretty cool, and it
Yeah,
really
that's
is something
dope.
that's hard for games to do, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
hard, but like I feel like it's important, and
It
I
is.
feel like it's like the number one thing that's really gonna like make people like either like it or dislike it.
Oh, definitely. I'm just really concerned about the new players to the game. I honestly don't think we're going to get very many new players, which I guess I really shouldn't care about because 100%, man, yeah, I liked it, and yeah, I'll play it when it comes out,
but most likely I'm gonna play for like 2 or 3 months, and then I'm just gonna go back to Median XL, you know, and I'll just be playing that in Apex again, and that'll be the end of it, and then I'll never really want to go and play D2R after that. And another thing, fucking Blizzard, dude, like they got rid of the private server thing. Did you hear about this?
Oh, the LAN connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I know it doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but what a lot of people aren't really like taking into consideration is by getting rid of LAN like that, because that's how these mods run, right? You have to join their server, their private server, to actually run the mod, and those are gone now. So they have literally effectively killed the modding scene for fucking D2R. You know, I mean, the guy that made Median XL, he was on Reddit the other day talking about how he was going to try to remake the entire Median XL game in the new D2R engine. But he can't do it now because they got rid of the fucking LAN. And because they got rid of that, like, he straight told everybody, hey, I'm giving up. I'm not even going to work on it anymore because it's impossible to do it without our own fucking private servers. Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense, though, because it's like they don't really want somebody else to, like, come in, do their job for them, and then, like, kind of capitalize, you know, even if it's free or whatever, like, capitalize on their product, you know?
See, like, there's where I kind of differ on that. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. But the thing is this, it's like, to play Median, right, you have to have already bought the original Diablo game, or original D2. And if they're not going to fucking do all these things for us, right, and we have to do it for ourselves, then they kind of fucking deserve it, man. You know what I mean? Like, they know the shit we want. They know they could have added more shit to it. You know they could have done all these extra things, I guess fan service, if you want to call it that. But they just decided not to do it. And not only do they decide not to do it, but then they're also like, and guess what? You can't fucking do it either, because fuck you guys. And that's why it pisses me off.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's what they did. That's the whole reason why WoW Classic came out, bro. Like, I don't know if you know this.
Oh,
but
yeah,
there was like a private server called Nostarius, and
Yep.
then they shut that down. And then, like, the hype around Classic WoW was just so crazy that they, like, basically got forced into releasing Classic WoW.
Yep. Yeah, I heard all about that, man. And that was a really fucked
Yeah.
up situation too for the WoW community. You know, anytime companies do shit like that, it just blows me away. Because if you think about it, like, these people are keeping those games alive. You know, I mean, why not just let them fucking do it? Especially if you have to buy and get an actual copy of the game, then who gives a fuck what you do to the game, you know? I mean, and for example, the Median XL thing I was just talking about, if they didn't get rid of that, more people, you know, at least the hardcore people we're talking about, which to be fair probably isn't that many, but more people would be even more excited because now they'd be like, okay, not only are we getting D2R, but in like a year or two, we're gonna get mods for it, and it's gonna make it even fucking better, you know? But
yeah, I mean, like, it would be cool if they just let you do mods and shit in general, because like that would fix the whole entire problem of lack of endgame content.
Yeah.
And it would take away all the responsibility from Blizzard, one, having to make it, so it's like they don't even have to put any resources into it,
Yeah.
and two, having to accept the failure of it.
Mhm.
Right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you could just be like, oh, it was that guy who made it, like, we have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You know, so if you don't like that, it's not even a Blizzard product.
Exactly. And that's one thing I feel Valve is actually really good at. And now I do feel like Valve is lazy as shit. But to be fair to Valve, yeah, they're hella lazy, but instead of them being super lazy and just being like, okay, you know what, we're lazy as fuck and we're not gonna do shit, and guess what, you can't do it either. They're more like, you know what, we're lazy as fuck, we don't give a shit, just give us money, and then you can do whatever you want with the stuff that we put out. It's fine. Do whatever you want. Just give us money.
Yo, that would be really smart too if Blizzard would like kind of make like contractual agreements with these people who want to do private server type of things, to be like, okay, look, like, you give us $1,000 and then you can make your little private server.
Yeah, you know, or
You know
even
what
if
I
it's
mean?
just like,
Element.
yeah, for real. That's what Doom did. Like way back in the day, way back, like when the first and second Doom came out. What's it called? It came out on PlayStation. I think it was called Final Doom. None of that was even made by id. That was literally mods that they compiled together, and then they paid the mods for making it, and then they made even more money on Doom because they fucking released it on PlayStation. You know, so it just blows me away when these companies are just leaving all this money on the table like that. You know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, the thing with Blizzard is that they kind of suck now. Like, it's just crazy. It's like they can't even make their own art assets for their games. Like, they basically didn't even make Diablo 2. Vicarious Visions did, and they're awesome. Like, they made the
Tony
the
Hawk.
expansion for Destiny 2
Oh
that
yeah.
was Forsaken. Like the art in there is crazy. It's like it's just amazing. And then this art is the same type of thing. So it just goes to show that Vicarious Visions can be a better like a better company at making Blizzard games than Blizzard can.
You're right. And what sucks about that is most likely if they recognize that, right, they're gonna jump all over that and they're just gonna shut that shit down. You know, like I almost kind of feel bad for Vicarious Visions because I'm really hoping they don't end up becoming the next Turtle Rock Studios. Turtle Rock, they made Left 4 Dead 1 and Left 4 Dead 2, and then Valve, you know, they left Valve and they haven't made anything successful ever since. You know, they came up with Evolved. Everybody hated Evolved. They came up with Back 4 Blood, and I haven't played it, and to me it looks good, but I'm hearing a lot of negative things about Back 4 Blood, and so I'm just hoping that does not happen to Vicarious Visions. I'm almost kind of hoping that, bro, like, I would have no problem if they got rid of the higher ups at fucking Blizzard and just basically gave Vicarious Visions, right, the ability to go and work on things that they wanted to actually fucking work on, and just kind of leave them the fuck alone. You know, it would probably be smart for them because they've really proven themselves to be a great company, and they most likely could probably do this shit better than Blizzard at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're doing it all on their own, too, and they're doing it, like, they're basically just partnering with people, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know if, like, who they're owned by or if they're owned by anybody, but, like, they've worked with, like, Bungie, with Blizzard. You know, I don't know where Vicarious Visions came from, but, like, their art team is, like, top tier.
I think they got bought by Activision. I'm not 100%, but I think I'm like 90% on that one. I'm pretty sure they got bought by Activision. That's why they made the Tony Hawk remakes, because those used to be Activision games. Yeah. So so I'm pretty sure they're with Activision, and they obviously, you know, they own Blizzard. I'm just getting this feeling that Diablo Immortal is going to be the extra content for Diablo 2 Resurrected that I would have liked to have seen in Diablo 2, because it takes place between D2 and D3, right?
Does it? I have no idea.
I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does. And I don't know. To me, it just feels like that's what's going to end up being that little extra oomph that I wanted to see. But is there anything more you want to talk about?
No, not that I can think of. I think we got a lot.
We did, yeah. Alright. Hey, man, thank you for your time. Hey, just so everybody knows, like, this is the guy that does my intro video right here, my brother. He's the one who did the song for the intro video. That full song is actually pretty badass. One of these days, like, you need to make a remake of that shit, bro. Like, it's time for you to do some remakes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got, like, literally probably, like, 3,000 songs, like, at my fingertips in my phone, bro.
Nah, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just ain't ever put them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for that, though. I appreciate that shit.
No worries. But, hey, thank you for coming on to my channel, bro. I appreciate it.
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
Alright, man. And so everybody, please like, comment, and subscribe. Fucking do it. Do it now. I'm waiting. Fucking do it. Do it. We're not going to end until you do it. Okay, cool. We're done.